Hello everyone, and welcome back to BFW 2401. I am recording week 2, and this is part 4. And we are talking in part 4 on 5 and 6 about the interest rate risk. So in the interest rate risk, we will talk about 3 issues: how this interest rate risk come to the picture, and we will talk about refinancing risk and reinvestment risk. And then we will talk about 2 models, one called the repricing model and then the duration model. And we will be concluding those 3 parts that are left. Now, if you allow me, let me share just my slide and start. Now, this is the part 4 and 6, and we are talking about the interest rate risk. Now, as you know, if we go again to the map, we are talking here. I keep repeating all these issues, but to know that we are doing this. Now, how the interest rate risk? It's the risk to earning and capital. That is a good thing to say, but how can we explain it? Now, how can an interest rate be a risk to the income statement, the bottom line, which we call it the earning? See, our interest income is coming from our net interest income, which is our bottom line, is actually coming from the interest income from the interest expenses. Or you can say it's the interest receivable on the loans we give to our borrowers, or the interest rate payable to our depositors. This is the difference which we make when we make this financial intermediary. Now, the problem is if we have different horizons, as I will explain in a while, then we will have a problem, which means I'm taking a deposit for 2 years and financing a loan for 1 year. If the interest rate change later on in the second year, and I have to lend this loan after receiving it to another borrower, hopefully, the interest rate will be the same or more. But if the interest rate is less, then this interest income will change. So the changes in the interest income can lead to the change in the net interest income, which means any changes on those interest payable or interest receivables will change the net interest income. And we are talking about the income statement, and this actually we deal with it in the repricing model. Now, how can the changes in the interest rate be a problem to the capital? It can be a problem to the capital because the net worth is actually the assets and liabilities. And we are talking about market value, which is the present value of the assets and liabilities. If the interest rate changes, then actually the asset will change, the market value of the asset will change, and the market value of the liabilities change, and there will be a change in the net worth. Let me just give you this example very fast. Look at this, for example. If I have a bond of 100 million and it matures, which means I will receive it. I'm investing in a loan for 1 year. I will receive it after 1 year. If I want to sell it, if the market rate today is 8% and I want to sell this loan, I can get just the present value, which is, I will take this and then the present value, which is actually you discount this 100 million for 1 year, and you can get 92 million. Now, what happened if this interest rate goes to 10%? See, my value of the loan dropped to 90 million. So any increase in the interest rate, in this case, will actually decrease my market value of the assets. This can be applied to the assets and to the liabilities, but we want to see the difference or the change or the net change on the net interest income. This is if we are talking about the net worth or the capital. So this capital can be changed if there is a change in the interest and the interest rate, and the market value of the assets and liabilities can change. Now, this actually will deal with it in the iteration model. As you can see now, and what I want to say now, earning can be impacted, capital can be impacted. Now, let me go a little bit further in this and just assume the following. Assume now you have this, this is a liability of 100 million. And I take it for 1 year. And I pay the depositor 10%. I take these liabilities, which is for 1 year, and I give it as a loan for 2 years. And this is a fixed rate of 12%. So in the first year, I am really happy because I am making 2% of the 100 million. The problem is what would happen in the next year. The next year, we can have different cases. Case one, interest rate of depositors on the market can go to 9%, or can go to 10%, or 11%. All of those changes can have different impact on my net interest income. I already make it here. So this is the 100 million. And this is the 100 million which I paid. And this is the first year. So the first year, I'm receiving 12%, which actually equals 12 million. And paying 10% for those people, which actually 10 million. So I'm making 2 million and I'm happy. In the second year, if the interest rate goes, keep 10%, the changes in the net interest income will be 0 because there is no change between the first year and the second year. But if the interest rate goes to 11%, see, I'm making 1 million difference between the first year and second year. This is a changes in the net interest income, which is my risk. What if the interest rate goes to 9% instead? Oh, I'm happy because actually my income in the second year is 3 million, more than the first year, and I'm making 1. This is not risk. The risk only if the interest rate goes to 11%. This we call it refinancing risk. Now, let me go back to my, this is what's happening here. Now, let me go back to the opposite situation, which is actually reinvestment risk. Reinvestment risk is when I receive a deposit for 2 years and I will give them fixed rate of 10%. But I will invest it for a loan for 12 years, for 12%. So in the first year, I'm happy, I'm making 12%. The problem is when I receive the loan back from my investors, from my borrowers, I will need to invest it again, right? So I need to invest it. The interest rate could be the same, like this stage, could be the same, and I have no problem. Or it could drop to 11%, or it could go up to 13%. If it goes to 13%, I'm happy. If it stays at 12%, no problem. But if I have to invest it again with 11%, then my income will decrease. Let me just use the same thing which we used before. This is now, there is no change here. This is 10%, still as it is. Now we are talking about the changes when we have a different maturity, which means we are receiving a deposit for 2 years. So I will pay for them 10% in the first year, the second year for the depositors. But for the borrowers, they will pay me 12% the second year. Hopefully, if there is no change, then they will pay me 12%. But what if this goes to 13%? In the first year, If it goes to 13%, I'm happy. I'm making 1 million more, and there is no risk here. But if I have to invest it with 11%, now I'm making 1 million difference between the first year and the second year. I used to receive 2 million, now I'm receiving 1 million. This, we call it reinvestment risk. Now, having said that, I can now take this off. And you can see the whole picture. So we have refinancing risk, which I explained it, and reinvestment risk. And this is because of the changes in the interest rate when we have different maturities for the assets and liabilities. So our position will be different. Now, I actually use this table, and this table, it's the same calculation which I did just now using the Excel. It was very easy to explain, but you can look if you are talking about refinancing risk. I talk about case 1, case 2, case 3 with 9%, 10%, 11%. And this is the changes that could happen during those 3 scenarios, which I already explained it here. I also explained in details what I just explained in the Excel file, simple calculation, and it shows the reinvestment risk. I am done with this, and this is part 4. Thank you very much, and I will see you in the second part. Thanks.